Good morning and welcome to the information session about the hydrogen mission to Japan between 12 and 23 of October. I am your moderator today. My name is Rob Stroeks from the Netherlands Embassy. Today's program will consist of 4 parts. One is the introduction by Erik van Kooij, Counsellor. Then I will present about the current hydrogen situation in the Netherlands. And the third part will be about the hydrogen mission, the program, by Nicole Dirksen. And the fourth part will be a Q&A session. And I'll give the word for an opening to Erik van Kooij.
Yes, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this information session about the hydrogen mission to Japan that we are organizing in the coming month in October. My name is Erik van Kooij. I am the Counsellor for Innovation, Science and Technology at the Netherlands Embassy here in Tokyo. And together with my colleagues of the innovation team, Rob Stroeks, who you already saw, Nicole Dirksen and Mariko Nakano, and of course our colleagues of the ministries and agencies in the Netherlands, we are organizing this hydrogen mission. And we want to give you more information about this mission today. If you allow me, I would like to start with some news from the Netherlands, because just the day before, yesterday, so that was Tuesday, 15 September, in the Netherlands we had what we call the Prinsjesdag. It is the day on which major government policies and budgets for the next fiscal year are made public. And here you see a picture of our king and queen, and the king is reading a speech from the throne in which he announces those new government ambitions. And one of the things that our government announced, amongst others, is that in the coming years, we will have to invest more in research, development, innovation, new infrastructure, and also new energy infrastructure. And of course, this opens up possibilities for the further development of, for example, new supply chains in the domain of hydrogen. In the Netherlands, like in Japan, we realize that hydrogen is essential to realize the transition towards a more diverse and decarbonized energy system, especially in industry, transport, but also, of course, in the built environment and in the power sectors. The Netherlands has an excellent position in the field of clean energy. The government has formulated a broad hydrogen strategy with policies, subsidy schemes, a regulatory framework, all very necessary, of course. And I will show you a picture of the visions we have in the domain of hydrogen. This is a future-oriented picture, as you can see, moving towards 2030 and 2050 with hydrogen. But already now, concrete projects and activities are ongoing on national and regional levels, with the aim to, amongst others, reach 3 to 4 gigawatt of green hydrogen production capacity in 2030, but also to develop significant blue hydrogen projects to support climate neutral backup power supply, demonstration projects, and pilots for decentralized sustainable energy projects. The Netherlands is really preparing to realize over the coming 5 years quite a number of stationary fuel cell pilots, 50 hydrogen fuel stations, to have on the road 15,000 smaller hydrogen vehicles and 3,000 heavy hydrogen vehicles, and on the rivers 10 to 20 ships on hydrogen and on sea. And of course, a number of pilots in industry. And for 2030, an energy island concept, including hydrogen production, is in preparation. Such islands will most probably be constructed in the North Sea. And in this picture, you see those islands are already, let's say, drawn in the North Sea. In short, the Netherlands is moving from a vision on a hydrogen future to concrete policy measures, from research activities to actual business undertakings, and from pilot projects to commercial projects based on public-private collaboration. Our ambitions are really high, and we are therefore also aware that it is not possible for us to do everything alone by ourselves. The Netherlands is, as you may know, an open-minded, internationally oriented economy, and that is really based on collaboration in innovation and, of course, global trade. Japan and the Netherlands recognize each other as important partners to move on with hydrogen in the energy transition, to formalize that our governments signed a bilateral agreement on hydrogen during the second hydrogen energy ministerial meeting, which was organized by METI in October last year, 2019. Okay. In line with this bilateral recognition and the wish to collaborate, we at our embassy have organized quite a number of hydrogen missions between Japan and the Netherlands in the last 2 to 3 years. These have resulted in many fruitful contacts between governments, companies, and the research institutes. And now, at the occasion of the third hydrogen energy ministerial meeting, we are organizing a next mission. We hope to move on from contacts to contracts, and for projects in Japan and the Netherlands, and of course also in third countries. Due to the COVID-19, this will be a digital mission. It will consist of webinars, web sessions, matchmaking events via internet. Of course, on the one hand, it is a pity that we cannot invite a physical delegation to come to Japan. But at the same time, a digital mission also gives us new opportunities. Participants from a broader part of the hydrogen value chain can participate. And we hope that more precise matches can be found. And of course also higher management levels can also join more easily. So as you will hear later in this session, we have gathered an interesting Dutch delegation that wants to meet and deepen relations with Japanese counterparts. That means with you. And we therefore warmly invite you to participate in the various sessions of the program that we organize in the period of 12 to 23 October. So, ladies and gentlemen, the Netherlands is ready to make next steps. We look forward to a successful mission for all participants from Japan and the Netherlands, and we look forward to having you on board at the various online events between 12 and 23 October. In this session today, we will try to give as much information as possible about our plans. I would like to thank you very much for your attention, and I look forward to see you again soon. And I now give back the floor to Rob Stroeks. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Eric. I will continue and give a short overview of what is happening recently in the Netherlands. The Netherlands. This is a map of the Netherlands in Europe. I think you know where it is. The Netherlands Japan is about 10 times the size of the Netherlands. Population is about 8 times the Netherlands. The economy is about 6 times the Netherlands. Main industries include oil and gas next to agriculture, but oil and gas is a major industry in the Netherlands. The Netherlands is also an exporting country. If you look at the number, the Netherlands is number 5 as an exporting country in general, and a major part of that is based on exporting natural gas and oil. And where does this export mainly go from? You can see on the right bottom side, Rotterdam is the biggest harbor in Europe and responsible for this export. If we zoom into the energy mix in the Netherlands, you can see that the primary energy supply in the Netherlands is about 80 million tons of oil equivalent. And this 40% is based on gas, about 40% oil, 10% coal, and the rest is a bit nuclear and renewables. In the Netherlands, we are lucky until now that we have an inland production, which is about 65 MTOE, which is about 80% of what we use. And the bulk of that is natural gas, which is a domestic resource until now. But as you can see on the left side, our energy mix heavily depends on fossil fuels, natural gas, oil, coal. So the Netherlands has defined last year a climate policy with the aim to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 49% by 2030, if you compare it to 1990, and even reduce it to 95% in 2050. I told you that we have domestic natural gas. In the map, you can see on the right top side, the big round green circle. This represents one of the biggest European gas fields that was found in the Netherlands about 60, 70 years ago. And the Netherlands is, since 1963, exploiting natural gas. And from this, the Netherlands gained a lot of revenues, and about 780 billion cubic meters of gas have been taken out of the ground. Well, this is of course very good, but it also had impact on the surface. There were subsidences, earthquakes, and some damages to local houses and buildings in the area. This came to quite a political discussion over the last years, and actually in 2018 a political decision was made to phase out the exploitation of domestic gas. So this is a major decision with major impact on the energy household in the Netherlands. Rotterdam, as you know, is a very big harbor. It's actually the biggest harbor in Europe, and a lot of chemical and energy-related activities are going on in Rotterdam. Rotterdam is also the largest emitter of CO2 in the Netherlands. So in order to get to those goals that I mentioned before, Rotterdam has to do a lot. Well, the Netherlands has put hydrogen high on the agenda. The background of this is that the Netherlands has, as I said, a strong gas sector, and we are a major hub for global oil and gas flows. The Netherlands has a strong petrochemical industry. We have a strong position in offshore wind, and our electricity and gas markets are fully integrated in Northwest Europe. But significant changes are imminent. As I said, there is a political decision to stop domestic natural gas resources. There is a political decision to increase renewables, and we foresee there will be an increase in electrification of the industry. So with that in mind, the Netherlands is proactively putting hydrogen on the map as a key to the energy transition and resource transition. What are the drivers for clean hydrogen in the Netherlands? We already have hydrogen production, which is mainly gray hydrogen, but we are in fact the largest producer, or the second largest producer of hydrogen in Europe after Germany, and already 170 petajoule of hydrogen are produced per year in the 5 main industrial areas, which you can see in the map on the left top corner. The blue bullets are local areas, industrial areas. The second driver is that we have large potential for offshore. We have a North Sea, shallow, different from Japan. We are lucky in that. And we are planning until 2030 to implement 11.5 gigawatt capacity of wind energy, offshore wind energy in the North Sea. And this is, of course, one of the resources to make green hydrogen. The third driver is that we have a very large and well-developed gas infrastructure and a lot of knowledge about gas. And hydrogen is a gas, so we can apply a lot of infrastructure and knowledge in this transition. And the fourth driver is that our geographical conditions are helping us, and they are positive in the sense that we can store hydrogen under the ground. As you can see on the right top picture, where we have the gas, there is cavities, and those can be used to store hydrogen. So hydrogen in the Netherlands has been recognized also by the EU. Earlier this year, there was a competition on which area in Europe would be having the name of Hydrogen Valley. And this competition, this European competition, was won by the Netherlands area in the northeast, Groningen area. And with this predicate of having the European Hydrogen Valley, this area can really show that we are a forefront runner in hydrogen activities in Europe. And this was given because already in this area there is about 30 projects developed by public and private entities together, which together represent a budget of about 70 million euros, and the European Commission adds to that about 20 million euros. So in total, over the next 5 years, 90 million euros, in Japanese, kyakokuin, of budget invested in this area in hydrogen-related projects. So this is quite a good promotion thing for the Netherlands. But also our central government is very active, and last March they published their hydrogen strategy. As you can see in the second bullet, the Netherlands still has about 20% of electricity in the energy mix, which is a bit lower than Japan, which I think is a bit more than 30%, but this will increase, as I said before. So it will become closer to the Japanese situation in terms of electrification. In the third bullet, you can see, as I said, the Netherlands is a strong gas country. A lot of infrastructure and facilities are based on gas, and this will stay very important. So we will not get rid of gas, but we will decrease the natural gas and increase zero emission gas. So this means, for example, green gas or hydrogen gas. So different type of gas. And we expect that in 2050, gas, so green gas and hydrogen, will be about 30% of the total energy household in our country. To get to that, the strategy from the government includes four policy agendas. The first one being legislation and regulation. So how to work on the existing infrastructure, how to work with network operators, how to deal with safety issues, etc. The second one is how to come to cost down and scale up of green hydrogen. This means implementing pilots, implementing subsidy schemes for blue hydrogen to slowly come to green hydrogen in the future. The third policy agenda is sector integration. I will talk about that in the next slide. And the fourth policy agenda, of course, the Netherlands has a lot of policies in other ministries, and this strategy says that all the other policies should work towards this hydrogen strategy. So they should supporting this strategy. Also, we have in the Netherlands a TKI, which is a Top Knowledge Institute, New Gas, which is a think tank that advises the government. And they published last March a publication that you can see on the left bottom, Hydrogen for the Energy Transition. And this is a programmatic approach for the next decade. On the right-hand side, you can see a table of goals and approaches that refer to the climate agreement that I mentioned before. And in the middle, you can see a picture of what the climate agreement is about in electricity, in industry, in society, built environment, agriculture, and mobility. So the actions, the goals and actions are split up in four parts. In industry, the Netherlands intends to install 3 to 4 gigawatt electrolyzers by 2030. We will reduce, come to a reduction in investment cost in these electrolyzers by 65% between now and 2030, increasing the electricity generation. Also, they are using hydrogen, and to make sure that this comes to a lower cost. The third pillar is mobility, transport. So 50 filling stations in 2025 with 15,000 fuel cell cars, 3,000 heavy vehicles, very important in the Netherlands. As I said, Rotterdam is a logistical hub, so there's a lot of heavy vehicles. And in the 5 years after that, we hope to come to 300,000 fuel cell cars. And of course, the stations need to be cheaper and also need to be more emission-free. The fourth pillar is built environment. As I said, the infrastructure in the Netherlands is based on gas. Almost all houses are connected to the gas grid. If we go to lower the gas, we need to come to less gas-dependent buildings, less natural gas-dependent buildings. I will come to that later on, but this is a very important subject in the Netherlands. Well, on the right hand, you can see a few approaches with programs and investments. And we will send you this document, and which introduces this very interesting document. It introduces about 80 concrete hydrogen projects that are going on in the Netherlands. And if you look through them, you can see a variety of projects in all these areas that I mentioned. Also, in the last half year, a task force was installed to advise the government on how to deal with the existing infrastructures of hydrogen, CO2, electricity, and heat. These are still now not completely integrated. So the recommendation is to come to an integrated infrastructure with those 4 resources, and to integrate them not only physically but also in management way. So there needs to be a lot of balancing going on in how to deal with surplus and shortcomings. And of course, the Netherlands is integrated in Europe, and the network should also be integrated with the surrounding countries. including Germany, UK, and Belgium. And the recommendation says that this backbone should be realized in the next decade, and the expected cost is about 40 to 50 billion euros to come to this integration. As I said, the Netherlands, also the buildings, will have to be less dependent on gas. So the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Policy in the Netherlands last year started a 5-year subsidy program for central government to municipalities. So cities and local governments can apply for such subsidy, in which part of their city becomes less dependent on gas. So instead of that, there will be programs or projects or pilot projects to come to heat networks or all electric networks or systems that depend on sustainable gas like hydrogen. And it can also be a combination of these. The annual budget is about 80 million euros for 25 projects per year. And we are now in the second year. Last year, the first batch of 24 projects was selected and are now being implemented. And at this moment, the second batch is being evaluated and selected. And I hope that in October, when our mission is there, the results are public and we can share with you what kind of projects have been selected. I think this is also a nice opportunity for some Japanese companies to connect. And this connection with Japan is very important, we think. We value the relation with Japan very high from all sectors, from government, policy, from companies and institutes. And that was recognized by both countries, by both governments, by signing a memorandum of cooperation. And that was signed, as Eric also mentioned before. You can see on the left with the red line on September 25 last year. Signed between NITI in Japan and our Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Policy in the Netherlands. And you can see on the left bottom, both countries recognize that we together play a leading role in this area, and we value high that innovation and international collaboration is key. On the right side, you can see some points. I will not call them all, but key points include the red circles, like keywords are policy, technology, roadmaps, investments, supply, capture, regulations, safety, research. There's a variety of issues that we all need to work together on to forward hydrogen as a sustainable position in the energy transition. The MOC was signed from the Japanese side by Mr. Hirohide Hirai, who is the Deputy Commissioner of ANDE in NITI, and on the Dutch side by Noor van Hulst, who is our hydrogen envoy of the Ministry of Economic Affairs and Climate Policy. So this is an umbrella and a basis for further collaboration. And further collaboration in the Netherlands, we are really looking forward to work together with Japan. Actually, over the past half year, based on different activities that we did until now, a group of public and private entities came together to form a multi-annual program on the topic of hydrogen with the purpose to build relations with Japan. We call it PIB Hydrogen Japan, which stands for Partners for International Business, which is a subsidy or a program from the Dutch government. This is a 3-year program. Will start beginning of next year, if everything goes well, until 2023. building relations on all levels between governments, between business, and between knowledge. So we call that G2G, B2B, A2K. Participants, as I said, there is a consortium of companies and governments together that work on a program for starting next year. And activities will be missions both ways. We will come to Japan if COVID allows, and we will invite Japanese delegations to the Netherlands. And one of the activities will probably go around the FC Expo in Tokyo. But also in the Netherlands we have expos and seminars and exhibitions. And of course, we all hope for a very successful Olympic Games in Tokyo next year, which will be a very important promotion for hydrogen, not only in Japan, not only in the Netherlands, but also worldwide. So we look forward to have that opportunity and work together on those points in time to work to a relation with Japan. And these programs, as I said, are results of delegations that we have organized until now. You can see some examples. Some of you have participated in the mission, for example, to the Netherlands that we organized in 2018. And some of you have participated in the missions from the Netherlands to Japan. And here you can see some booklets with participants. And delegations lead to collaboration. On the right-hand side is just one example of a Dutch company, which actually, this is not a Japanese company, but this collaboration was formed at the FC Expo last February in Japan. So Japan is a very important hub where worldwide players meet each other and come together and find each other. And this is a nice example. And we also look forward to even more Dutch-Japanese relations coming out of all the delegations that we do. So with that said, as a background, we will now, my colleague Nicole Dirksen will give you some more explanation about the mission in October. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Rob, and thank you for your attention. My name is Nicole Dirksen, and I'm Advisor for Innovation, Science and Technology at the Embassy. I will tell you a bit more about the Virtual Hydrogen Mission to Japan program. It starts at the 12th of October to the 23rd of October. And the purpose of this mission is actually based on earlier successes. I think Rob and Erik already explained some of those. So this is not our first mission to Japan. It's also not our first hydrogen mission to Japan, but it is our first virtual hydrogen mission to Japan. And this mission aims to bring the already existing relationship between Japan and the Netherlands in this domain closer together. And also we want to provide you the possibility to broaden your own network. And the participants of this mission is actually cross-sectoral. So participants from different governmental levels, local, national, the private sector, and also research institutes from both the Netherlands and Japan can participate. The program, as already mentioned, will be completely digital. So the presentations, topical discussions, and the network opportunities will all be digital. And we think that because we have some similar challenges, questions, and goals, that this mission gives you the opportunity to learn from each other, exchange ideas, and also, most importantly, take the next step together. So a bit more about the program. We have three main tracks. The first track is the supply chain. It's about the whole supply chain of the hydrogen domain. The second track is smart cities. This one is about urbanization of urbanized areas and mobility within the urbanized areas. And the third track is about hydrogen policy. The sessions will all be around 1 to 2 hours, and they will start at 3 Japanese time, the earliest. And this is because in the Netherlands it's 7 hours earlier. So 3 is the most convenient time for both countries, we believe. Now a bit more about the program itself. There's a lot of information on this slide, but don't worry, I will share the slides after the presentation as well. So the mission, it starts on Monday, the 12th of October, but the first 2 days are introduction days for the Netherlands. And it will also be held in Dutch, so this is not too interesting for you, I'm afraid. But what is very interesting is the 14th of October, because then the hydrogen energy ministerial meeting will be held digitally, so it is also possible to join. This one will once again be organized by Japan, and it also includes a video appearance from our Dutch Minister of Economics and Climate, Minister Wiebes. And the hydrogen energy ministerial meeting will have similar themes to our own mission. So mobility, supply chain, and hydrogen hubs. And the meeting will start at 7 till 10. And the ministerial session where Minister Wiebes will appear will start also at 7 till 7:45. So be sure to sign up for that one. But if you need more information on your registration or the HEM itself, I would like to recommend to go to Meti and Meda's website, which I will include later on as well. On Thursday, we have our first online presentations, webinars. And the first topic on Thursday will be the supply chain. So Dutch and Japanese private sector participants will give you some presentations about the hydrogen supply chain. A similar setup for Friday, but with the topic of smart cities and with public and private participants. And on Monday, we have again a similar setup of webinars, but on the policy track and with presentations from governmental agents. Now, important to know that while the presentations are by specific actors, regardless of your background, you can join any of the presentations, of course. On Tuesday, the 20th of October, our first interactive session will be held. It's called a topical discussion, and I will explain a little bit more about this. Because this is a very interactive session where we can have an in-depth discussion about several topics. So if you're a participant and you would like to discuss a topic or a question or perhaps a problem you have with peers, you can submit the case to us and we can provide you with a so-called digital table. And well, for example, you're a local government and you want to discuss about local policies about hydrogen infrastructure. I think you will not be the only one to find that interesting. So we provide you a digital table and all the participants can join you and discuss this topic and you'll be the table leader. And how to do this, I will explain a little bit more in the next slides. Also important to know, it's of course not mandatory to submit a case, but I believe it's a nice chance to have an interactive discussion with your peers, so it's an opportunity. On Wednesday, we have our first digital network session. This will be organized by a professional networking organization. And to make this the most optimal for you, you can provide us with your profile. And then this network organization will link you to relevant candidates. And the Dutch Embassy will also be available to ask questions to. So not as a network organization, but if you have any questions about the Netherlands or perhaps the other way around, we can assist in that as well. On Thursday, we have a second matchmaking session. It's the same as on Wednesday, but in case you maybe have missed a participant to talk to, you have a second chance here. And on Thursday, if possible, we would also like to organize a closing reception. But the closing reception, where we would like to provide you with a dinner at the embassy, will depend on the COVID-19 situation at that time. So if we can host this responsibly, we would like to invite you on Thursday. But if this is not wise to do so, we will arrange, if possible, a digital alternative for the Japanese participants. And then the last day, Friday, is an optional day, basically, where in case you have missed some participants, but you would like to interact with them, you can send us an email with the ones you would like to talk to, and we will try to arrange that for you on this Friday. But in case Friday is not convenient for you or the other participants, we can of course also arrange this after our mission. So please make sure to let us know if you miss something. Then how to join. So if this program looks appealing to you, and I hope it does, we will provide you with a platform where you can register. So we will make an online platform. This one is still in the making, but we expect it to be launched at the end of this week. And once it is launched, we will send you a link where you can register. And here you can register for the mission itself, but also for the webinars, the digital tables, discussion tables, and also the network sessions. And at the platform, also more additional information will be given to you. But once it is launched, we will send it to the email addresses you have provided right here. And then finally, if there are any questions for me about the program or about the hydrogen situation in the Netherlands, you can ask them in the chats. We have a chat in this WebEx. And if there are any questions for me or my colleague, we will answer them right now, but I give you some time, of course, to write it down. And in the meantime, I will also show you these slides. So if you need a bit more information, or if you think of a question after this presentation, you can also just email Rob for me. And in this slide, there's also a link to NATO's website for more information about the hydrogen ministerial meeting, and with more information how to register and sign up there. And for now, I will look if there are any questions. So if there aren't any questions, I think I will want to thank you very much for your attention, and I hope to see you all in October. And now I give the final words back to Rob. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Nicole. I think we were quite fast in the time, maybe. We 3/4 of an hour. We have quite some time for Q&A, but I'm very happy that we had lots of participants today. I think more than 25 about people. So don't hesitate to contact us at any time. And if there's any urgent question now or that you want to ask us, you can still do so. And if not, I am contacting some of you also directly with some more questions. And by all means, as you know, we know quite a few of you. I'm very happy with being between a lot of good colleagues and also new people that are interested in our mission. And really look forward to work together with all of you. And this is not only for the Dutch side, but also for the Japanese side. The final goal is to find collaboration and to further a very important goal in the energy transition, which is really necessary, I think, and we're really eager to work together to find solutions together. So if there's no question I hear from Nicole. So with that, it's a bit early, but I think we have tried to inform you as good as possible what we know now. As Nicole said, the link will go online this week, which I hope will be today or tomorrow. And please look at it. We will send it to you. And if you have any questions on technology or contents or any question you have on this topic, do not hesitate to call or mail us anytime. So I thank you again for your attention, and we of course end our presentation with 2 flags, which is symbolizing the good relations between our 2 countries. And hope to see you all virtually, and hopefully also at the residence physically, some of you hopefully. And thank you for your attention, and see you all very soon. Thank you very much. This ends this presentation. Thank you.